Hello, my name's Sue Lewis and I'm going to be running you through this presentation, which is a recording of a webinar that we did recently. It's called An Introduction to Careerpilot, and we're going to be taking you through the Careerpilot site. So what I'm going to do specifically today is show you how Careerpilot can help young people be career ready, which is what we want, but also I'm going to show you how you can use it in an embedded way, how can we use all levels for school or college, and then how that would help you meet the Gatsby benchmarks. So just to give you an overview of Careerpilot, it is a suite of different web tools. We have a student zone, which we'll be talking about in a minute, and the data from that feeds into the reporting zone. Then we have an advisor zone with all lesson plans and materials, and a parent zone as well. We've also got a new edition for 2020-21. We had a bid to the Careers and Enterprise Company last academic year to pilot a new approach to delivering personal guidance through triage, and we piloted it last year and it's now available to other schools and colleges to use, and it's called the Careerpilot Pathway Planner. We are an award-winning website. In 2018 we won the Career Development Institute Award for a good quality careers and employability website. So if you're delivering our suite of tools, then that will really help you with Gatsby 1, which is to put a stable careers program together. To help students understand more about their own careers and how they can become career ready, we did through our CEC bid developer animated video. So it's a fun 3-minute video, and what we tried to get across in that is 4 key things that students need to do to manage their careers. One is know themselves, their motivations, interests, skills, do stuff to build their CV, know all their options in some detail, and then use all the available support, people in schools, people at home, Careerpilot, personal guidance, whatever might be available. So if you want to show your students that video, it's available on the top part of our home page where it says watch your video. So Careerpilot can be embedded in all the different roles within the school that should be thinking about reinforcing messages to do with careers. So for example, there's lots of stuff there for students obviously, but also for parents, but we've got resources for tutors and PSHE staff to use who might be delivering aspects of your careers programme. There's loads there for the careers leader. There's things for subject teachers so they can relate their subject to careers, and there's a lot that will support personal guidance. So Careerpilot can be at the centre of what you're doing across your whole school in regards to careers. So this is the home page. I'm just going to show you some of the sort of key headlines from the home page, and then we'll kind of drill down to different parts of the site. So this is open access. Anybody can look at this bit of the site across the country, but if you're a subscriber to Careerpilot, then your students can register here and they get access to the career tools. And the career tools is where they can personalise their choices. So they could say, these are my job sectors, the one I like, or they could do the skills map and save it here. And a key part of this is they have to sign in when they're using Careerpilot. Then they can indicate what they're interested in through the career tools, and that creates a report for them, but that also populates your reporting zone. So if you don't get the students to sign in and actually indicate the things they like, then you won't have much information in your reporting zone. So it's a key bit of learning really for students to understand. So also from the home page you can get access to the advisor zone, lesson plans and materials, and the parent zone. So from one address, careerpilot.org.uk, you get access to everything. So just a few other things. These are what we call our popular tools: job profiles, over 900 job profiles, a course search, provider search, qualification planner, where a ladder of qualifications, over 1,000 video stories, all linked into jobs and qualifications. Now behind Careerpilot we're all careers advisors, so we're really keen to give students a process they can keep returning to when they make a career decision. So this is a classic decision making process, and it mirrors some of the things we have in our video. Start with you, what are your motivations, interests, explore your options, and then think about how you're now going to use that information to plan your next steps. But of course students already have a pathway in mind sometimes, so they can look specifically at something like A-levels, and then they'll get information, advice about the A-level pathway. So down the left hand side are the topics they'll see under this heading. There's always video stories about a topic, so they could look at information if they don't want to read a lot. There's always a summary of what they're going to read if they go on down the page, and they can click to the bit they're interested in. The other key thing is that they can bookmark anything they're interested in. So on the top right hand corner, if there's a plus on any page, that means they can add that to their career tools. So the way they sign in and register so they can access the career tools is they do it themselves straight onto the site. You don't have to send us a list of students, and they'll be asked to fill in this form. So we'll ask them who they are, where they live, and then which school they're in, and they attribute themselves to a school, and they give permission for the school to have access to their record. But the record is owned by them until they're 21, and they can port it into different providers if they want to. So the reason they're in is so they can use the career tools as they're using the site. So that's a sort of good quality usage of the site. So the way it works, as I mentioned, when there's a cross at the top right hand corner, that means they can add something. So if they like the look of this job, animal care worker, they can just indicate here. And then in the career tools, under my job sectors and under the main report will be any jobs that they've saved. And if they want to get rid of them later, they don't want to be an animal care worker anymore, then they just cross them out. So the 3 stages that we have in our site, lots of our resources structured under these 3 stages. Start with you. And so here's activities for specific ages. So we give suggested activities that fit with age and stage for every year group from year 7 to year 13. There's some quizzes to get them started. They can start with a subject, see where it might lead. They could do a skills map, that's a popular tool. We have a pre-16 and a post-16 version of that. Or they could plan their qualifications on a grid. The second stage is about exploring your options in a range of different ways, by age, by jobs or courses, apprenticeship vacancies, lots of information there. And then it's how you're going to use that. So they could look at their full report, they could look at their skills map, and as they're going through, whenever they do a session, we usually try to encourage them to do 1 or 2 action points. So it's all about them managing their own career, thinking what they will do next. Might be just investigate something or go to an open day or whatever it might be. It's about trying to get them to take charge of some aspects of their career development. So the first stage, I'll look at it in a bit more detail now, and it just explains some of these things to you. So we have activities, we've got home learning activities in there as well now, as well as this ones you could do in a classroom, in an IT room. So let me just show you some of these things. So the activities for every year group, students can click on one of these. You might be directing them to do that, and there'll be 4 or 5 things that are appropriate for them to do in that year group. So they might be related to option choices if they're year 9, or work experience if they're year 10, or post-16 choices if they're year 11. But if they're year 7, it might just be exploring and understanding more about the careers world. So 4 or 5 activities. And for you, in the advisor zone, there'll be presentations that help you introduce this to those particular year groups. So it's based on about an hour in an IT room, and it starts with a fun activity related to careers, like a quiz maybe, and then it shows them the things they need to do, and then it sort of wraps up with the plenary. So they're all there, you can download them and change them whatever way you want to. So one of the other things you can do, one of our quizzes in the Start With You section is the job sector quiz. This is a popular thing. 50 jobs that you might like to do in a work situation, and click on as many as they want to, and then it'll tell them what sectors might be useful for them to explore further. So what sort of match is there between what they want to do and a sector, so they can explore further. We've also got a big job section as well, so you can get to things in different ways. So here you can search for a job by sector. You could start with a subject and see where that might lead, what sort of jobs it might lead on to. You can see the job quiz is there as well, that's another access point. The Careerometer, you can compare 3 jobs, up to 3 jobs, and see the different salaries. You could find a job or experience. We've got quite a lot about virtual work experience there at the moment. You could look at job growth near you. So we use the National Careers Service infographics, which are regional, about how jobs are predicted to grow. And sometimes there's a prediction for the future, rather than the immediate reflection of what's happening with COVID. And all this really will help with Gatsby 2, which is about providing labour market information to young people. And there's lots in here that's going to support that agenda. Okay, so I'm just going to show you now our skills profile, because that's a very popular tool. As I said, we've got a version for pre-16 and post-16 as well. So we developed this because when you ask students what skills they've got, they're often a challenge to come up with an answer. So what we did was swap that around and say, okay, what have you done in your life, your learning, your work? So this is under a set of questions about hobbies. So I've kept going with a hobby or sport out to school. So if you tick that, and you can tick as many of these as you want to, then it'll tell you what skills that particular activity's probably helped you practice. So you get an idea of everything counting as things that give you skills. What you'll get then is our skills profile that kind of is an overview of all this information. So this is our post-16 version here. So there's a set, all the skills are there, and all the examples that came from the quiz are shown in that first column. And what the students could do is then add their own examples, because we wouldn't have asked them everything through the quiz. So very simply, they could put in, you know, I did some babysitting, or I'm in this football team, or I do a local job, or whatever it might be, and they can indicate what skills that activity has given them. They can also say whether it was an in-school or out-of-school activity. And then what will happen is everything gets banked for them here. So all their examples are here, and then in the grid, they will have examples that they generated themselves. So for this student, teamwork's at the top because they've got 5 examples from the quiz and 1 they generated themselves. The other thing they could do here, which is quite nice, is they could put in a job they like, nurse, doctor, plumber, and they can see how their skills compare with that job. So here's the skills of the job, and these are the skills they've got, so they can start to sort of close the gap between where they are now and the skills they might need for a future job, and just build up examples that are relevant to the things they're interested in doing. When they're ready to apply, they can use their skills to apply, what you're applying for, nurse, doctor, plumber again, and indicate what skills you most need to flag up if you want to be a nurse. It's going to be different from being a plumber. And then you get all your examples. So this helps students then to write a quality piece of evidence they can use in an application or a personal statement. This tool is used a lot in Year 12 to help students get ready for writing personal statements. And the other thing you could do is, if they've had any sort of encounter or work experience, you could get them to go in and put that in as an activity, and that could be indicated as school activity, and that would contribute too to their skills profile. To help you, we've got 3.4, which is about linking curriculum to careers. We've got various things in the side, but this is one the students can use directly, or a member of staff could be using with students, where they start with a subject. We've got 21 subjects. Click on computing, for example, and then they can see a selection of jobs, courses, apprenticeships that would actually lead on from that particular subject. And we also link to the open courses that universities offer too. We don't need to be university level, you don't even need qualifications, just need an interest. But if you do these, they look really good in your personal statements. So a subject teacher could, just once a term maybe, for 20 minutes say, let's see where my subject might lead, and have a little look at these things, click on some jobs, see the different salaries. So it could be an easy way to get teachers started on linking their subject to careers. So moving on to section 2 now, which is our explore your options, and you can see you can do that by age or by job or by courses. I'm just going to show you a few things in this section. Tonight's an overview, but you can have a little play with the site when you've got a bit more time. So job sectors is a very popular part of our school and really helps at Gatsby too. As I said, they can search for jobs or by sector, or drill down to a job profile. So job profile is about 900 in the site, and there's various things. Here's the skills again I showed you earlier, but there's labour market information here about whether the job is predicted to grow, salary, employment in the regions, how you get into that job, video stories, lots of information to help students find out more about a particular job. And we've found that this really inspires students to think about their qualifications, because quite a lot of jobs do require a certain qualification level. Just to say that in terms of the information about job growth, this comes from LMI for All, which is a national source of data, but it's a prediction of where jobs will be in 2024. But if a student clicks on in your local area, that will go to the National Career Service infographics, which are a bit more about now. Still a little bit out of sync with everything happening with COVID, but are a bit more immediate. So in this section 2 we also have search by course, so if students wanted to think about their future courses or just explore them, it's really useful for getting early, pre-16 students to start thinking about these things. Often packages like UCAS aren't introduced to them till post-16, but it's great if they could start looking at things now, why not? So they could search for degree courses, apprenticeships, or 16 to 19 providers. So I'm just going to show you the degree pathway just to give you a flavour of how it works. You put in the name of a degree, or there's a little drop down if you want a sort of an idea. Your postcode, how far you're prepared to travel, and then you get a short list, and then you can click on that and you get data about that course. You can add it to your courses. You can go straight off and look in detail at that course on that university's website. So it's a really good way of getting students started with exploring all this information. We also have it for apprenticeship vacancies as well. So a few other things that we've got in the site are the qualification ladder. I've mentioned a few times. So this is a way for students to think about where they are now and where they might want to go in the future in terms of their qualifications. So they can plot their route here, and they'll show in their career tools. If they click on any of these qualifications, it'll explain what they are. There's also find a provider. So this provider near to me. Currently our site is predominantly used in the south west and south of England, as you can see, but more and more schools outside of our region are subscribing to Careerpilot, so that map is growing in terms of the amount of pinpoints we have on it. So they can search for providers in different ways, and then they can look at what that provider might be offering by drilling down to particular aspects of their site. One other thing that the qualification ladder allows you to do, once the students have tagged the things they're interested in, they can start to add their grades. So if they're saying I'm doing GCSEs now, then they've got the option to add their subjects and predicted and actual grades. And next year they go back and change them from predicted to actual if they move on to year 12, for example. So talked about stage 1, start with you, stage 2, explore your options, and now it's stage 3, plan your next steps. So this is where they can download their full report, they can use their skills map, and they'll already hopefully have some action points, but they can keep adding to those too and thinking about what they're going to do to move their career on. So the full report is accessed here for the students, and you can access that through the reporting zone, and it can be quite detailed. It's a really good tool for helping to prepare for personal guidance, Gatsby 8, but it also helps with Gatsby 3, which is about meeting individual needs. This is a great way to find out what the individual needs of your students are in terms of their career. So it'll have qualifications, job sectors, all the things that are in the site, and they've been tagging, that's the key thing, as shown in their report. You can also add advisor reports and comments here. So that could be a guidance advisor who just writes their report straight into the site and then it's visible to the students, or it could be a tutor just doing a quick follow-up. You can have as many of these against the students as you want to. And that report moves up for them every year. We save a snapshot on August the 31st, so it's always last year's saved, and then you've got your live report going forward. So we've got a new little thing too, a little dashboard, which is kind of a summary of all these different sections in one page, which can be printed out. It is in alphabetical order, so if they've got a big list of things, it'll just show them in the top alphabetical order, but just give a quick little summary of the things they're interested in. Okay, now that was a bit of a whiz through the student zone, but hopefully you can see there's lots of information in there, and I could tell you how you can get even more training if you want to know more. What I'm going to talk about now quickly is the advisor zone. So this is specifically aimed at teachers and advisors with lesson plans and materials to help you deliver Careerpilot. So I'm just going to show you some of the key things. The pathway planner, there's a whole tile about that, and you might want to go back and have a little look at that at the end of this session. There's a section, there's a career leader portal, which has got lots of information showing how Careerpilot maps to Gatsby. Home learning activities, which have been really important through the COVID crisis. Then there's resources for every key stage, from key stage 3 right up to college resources. So this is where you can get those lesson plans for every year group. A few other things, free training can be accessed here. We've got, if you want to access the reporting zone, you can request that here. We've got some COVID updates for advisors. You become a super user, and then you become, if you're a super user, then you get additional access to resources. I'll explain more in a minute. If you're outside our area, you can subscribe to Careerpilot by paying an annual subscription. Full details are there. There's lots of other things in this section too. Okay, so just to explain some of the things we have got there, as I say, we try to encourage schools to think about Careerpilot as a progressive tool you can use in every year group, doing something slightly different according to the needs of the students. So we have sketched that out in this format so to help a school think about how they would do that. And that really helps when you put new stable careers program together. So also to help you, we've got 5-week PSHE programs for every year group with all the resources you might need. Some of them are based in an IT room, but some have resources you could use in a classroom. And a lot of these now are recorded online lessons. There's also these little 20-minute tutor time activities for Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4, which are just sort of fun careers activities you could do in 20 minutes. We've also got subject-specific resources to help teachers link their subject to careers, which is Gatsby 4. So we've got some free resources. So there's one as 23 for Key Stage 4 subjects, one for each subject. And what we've done here, they take about 20 minutes for a subject teacher to do, and they specifically link to an aspect of the curriculum they're already delivering. So it just tells them some things they can do to enhance that subject and link him all with careers. There might be a TED talk they could link to or a video. So we've just picked those things out to help people. And they can be downloaded for free from the Advisor Zone. We've also got a version now for Key Stage 5, got 23 subject resources for Key Stage 5, and there's a small cost for those as well. But you can do that through the Advisor Zone, just request them, and you can pay. If you're a super user, it costs less than if you're not. We've also got for Gatsby 2 information that is LMI based, and they're called hot jobs, and they're in different. We've got 30 hot jobs currently, and we're just working on jobs of the future, another set. So these actually are all jobs predicted to grow. Some might have changed slightly with COVID, but we don't know what the future holds. And they're in a poster format or social media, or you can put them on information boards. So some schools do like Job of the Week, and they're free downloads, and you request those through the Advisor Zone. We've got a few other things in there too, career guides for careers advisors. So there's some particular jobs have changed quite a bit recently, and their pathways have changed. So our very experienced career advisor Louise has actually put some of these together. We've got one for law, one for veterinary medicine, and we're just about to do dentistry, and there will be others coming on stream too. We've also got another advisor did some top tips for year 13 in a pandemic, how to sort of pandemic proof themselves. So those things are available through that particular tile in the Advisor Zone. So there's lots in the Advisor Zone. Do have a little play when you get a chance. Then I want to talk quickly about the Parent Zone. So parents love the main site, so definitely tell them about that. But there's also a Parent Zone, which will give them the answers to questions that they might want to ask and might not be sure who to ask. So it mirrors the site, so it might be about choices 16 or higher education or apprenticeships, whatever. And then there'll be a set of questions the parents are often asking. So under this choices 16, what's the further education college and what courses do they offer? And then there'll be hopefully easy to understand information with the links if they want to find out more. So we've done the Student Zone, the Advisor Zone and the Parent Zone, and we're now showing you the Reporting Zone. So this is what it looks like. You can get access to that. If you're in our free to use zone, then you can just request access by completing a data sharing agreement. So there's a tile in the Advisor Zone to request access to the Reporting Zone. So when that data sharing agreement's been signed off, we would give you a password, and that password keeper can issue passwords for other stuff. And then you'll be able to see all the users that put themselves in your school, sort them into groups, and then look at reports. I'm just going to show you a few of the reports. So you could set a home learning activity in COVID, or it could be an activity you do in school, and through our tasks completed report, you could see which student had done what, and also look at their report. You can also do things like look at what job sectors the students are interested in. So this could be a good way to think about the encounters you can offer, finding out what the needs of the students are, and then actually putting on employers who might be able to talk about those things, or showing them videos that relate to the particular job area they're interested in. So key to this is that you've got your students to sign in, tag the things they're interested in to create this data so you can look at the reports. You can download any of these reports as well. You can also drill down to the level of the individual, and I've just expanded what you can do against each student. So here you can look again at those different bits, like what job sectors that student is interested in, but you can also look at their full report from here, and this is where you can add the advisor comments. You could download that report, send it to a parent. You can look at any annual reports that have been done previously and saved for them, so you can see their journey as well as where they're at the moment. And this is where, as I said, you can add action points. They can add those too, or you can add them with them, and then you can add the advisor comments as well. So this tonight is an introduction. If you want to have further training, we do offer a whole range of free training if you're a Careerpilot subscriber or in a free to access area. So we do some things in the school environment, so we can do an introduction to Careerpilot for your staff team, all online. And we can do other things as well. We'll also do a one-to-one consultation. If you're a careers leader and you'd like to meet with one of us from the team, we'd help you think about your context and help you put a plan together for implementation. We also have a whole program of webinars like the one you're listening to now, which is the introduction to Careerpilot. We've got specific sessions for careers leaders, how you can use the reporting zone to best effect, and about the pathway planner. So we'll mention the pathway planner briefly, but if you want to come to one of our webinars, you can see there's a whole range of them up there. Okay, I mentioned earlier on you could become a super user. So super users get access to more resources and preferential rates if we have to charge for anything. And to become a super user, you just have to hit 4 criteria. And this is all available on the website, so we won't go through it in great detail. And then if you become a super user, you get a certificate you could use in your school, and also, as I said, you get access to more resources. So it's a bit of a whiz through, but we're almost at the end now, and I want to talk quickly about the Pathway Planner. So this is the tool we developed through the National Careers and Enterprise Company project, and it's all about Gatsby 8 and having good quality personal guidance. This is now, we piloted it last year in 6 schools, and it's now available for purchase as an add-on to your Careerpilot site. So you need Careerpilot, and then you can add on the Pathway Planner. So when we put the bid together, we had to make sure it met Gatsby, which we know is a guidance interview before they're 16, and another one after. We also had to make sure we met the principles of good quality guidance, which come from a Careers and Enterprise Company research report called Personal Guidance, What Works. So this is the model that we piloted and is now ready to roll out. So it's a model of using preparation and triage in order to give guidance according to need, specifically aimed at year 11 and 12. So we start with what we call our pre-guidance session. This is a preparation session. It's 1 hour in an IT room, and we've got structured presentations that take year 11 or year 12 through their next stage options. So we'll go through the different options. They get some time on Careerpilot to kind of explore those, like about half an hour. And right at the end of that session, it takes about 5-10 minutes, they do the Pathway Planner. So what this will ask them is which option they're interested in, because they've just seen them all, and then they'll do a quiz, and that will give them a how ready are you score for your progression pathway. So it essentially gives them red, amber, green. Then that data is available for careers leaders and guidance advisors to use to target guidance at different levels of need. So there'll be red, amber, green levels of guidance. And you can use Careerpilot part of guidance, write the reports on Careerpilot, and then we train tutors, it took about 20 minutes, to follow up about 4 weeks later by asking 3 key questions. And if they were concerned about them, they could put them back into guidance. We also had other guidance too, like one lunchtime week was drop-in guidance, and students could also request e-guidance through the system. And this was very much about Gatsby 8, but also Gatsby 3, meeting individual needs. I'll just show you a few slides very quickly. So if you've got the pathway planner switched on for students, it'll appear here. They get asked about the pathways that are coming up next and which ones they're interested in. They can say definite, considering, not doing. And then for each one, they can do a guidance quiz. So just to say there is now a college version too. So they start the guidance quiz for the ones they're definite or considering. So there'll be particular questions trying to find out how ready they are for that pathway. I know what vocational course I want to do next. I know when I can do the vocational course I want to do. And they can say yes, think so, no. And at the back end, we've kind of scored these. They don't see the scoring, but some of these are red flag questions. What the students get is a red, amber, green score about their pathways. And they can also access things like a timeline which shows where they are at a particular date, and later they can request additional guidance. The first session will be set up for them through the system. So from the reporting zone side, if you're a pathway planner school, you have this pink bit called the pathway planner, results and bookings, and this is where you can see what pathways the students are interested in, how ready they are. Here you can see their answers, and you can book guidance. You can summarise where they are at the end of guidance, like a short progression report. Tutor follow-up can be recorded here. The advisor comments can be accessed here as well. So everything in one place, a full record of all the things that you've done in terms of guidance. I haven't got time to tell you much more about this, but there's a lot more to the Pathway Planner. So we have some webinar dates coming up if anybody is interested in signing up to find out more about that. Just to say, it is an add-on, so you do have to pay to have the Pathway Planner, and it's £250 per annum if you're a school, or if you want the college version, it's £400 per annum. And then you get training, which is 2.5 hours, and that's a compulsory training session. You get access to all the materials. Obviously the Pathway Plan will be switched on. You also become part of a membership group as well, so you can contribute to the development of the Pathway Planner. If you want to find out more, it's all on our Careerpilot Pathway Planner tile, which is in the advisor zone. Okay, we're almost at the end. Just to say, here's some feedback from students. We get loads of positive feedback from students. They do love having a site they can keep going back to that has all the information in one place. And what they particularly like is having their own account. The job sectors and job profiles are always really important, but they liked having their report and being able to bookmark. It was something for them, a personal journey. So as this is a recording, you can't ask any direct questions here, but we do have a helpline that's available from 9 till 3 every day in term time. That's the email address, or you can ring. The line is now open after being closed for a while through lockdown 1. So if you do need any more information, just get in touch with the helpline, and Joe, who is our helpline coordinator, will be there to help. So thank you so much for coming along now. If you want to sign up for any more of our webinars, then please do through the advisor zone, or if you want to sign up for the reporting zone, you can do that there as well. So thanks very much and good luck.